What's up, guys? Tambo here with your weekly core report. It was an amazing week last week, loaded with winners across multiple sports. Here are some of the highlights. We kick off things in the college football streets where our members have been crushing. Phil Mix Bra hit for $1,500, while Freddie 11 won $3,400. In MMA, 57 Lions had a nice ROI, turning $100 into over $1,000. And Agency Arms LLC hit for $2.9K in NHL. Just a reminder, our memberships include all sports for one price. World Cup kicks off next week too, and we will have a ton of content to help you shift. So sign up today and let's start running pure. In the NFL, RPS ran the leaderboards once again. I landed my 5th King of the Beach ticket. D. Bailey 2106 hit for $5K. J. Rex 777 won $38K. And D. Kafer shipped a 3rd live final seat. Our biggest sport last week was the NBA, where our members shipped left and right. Our NBA content has been on fire, and you can catch our daily shows for free by subscribing to our YouTube channel right now. ROI was strong in NBA last week too. Connor turned $28 into $1,700 using K-Falix Core. Chunky Blue turned $14 into $1,700. Junior turned $64 into $1,800. Chargers 0616 hit for $2K, while Brandon 2323 won over $10K. Our coordinators joined in as well, with Bobby Hare winning $14K. Mangone hit for $16K, while K-Falix shipped for $44,000. Congrats again to all our members. If you want to be featured in our weekly core report, drop your winning lineup in our Members Never Win channel in our premium Discord. If you're not a member, join now. You won't find a better value with all sports included for one low price. And while you're watching, hit that like button now. Remember, if you're not winning with us, you're watching us win. Till next time, let's keep running pure.
What is going on, everybody? Happy Wednesday, and welcome to the first look over here on Run Pure Sports. I'm Eric Crain, and I am joined, as I am each and every single Wednesday. We got AP, we got Locks. AP, how is your morning going?
My morning is going fantastic, and I'm on here with you gentlemen, talking NFL, talking winners, so it couldn't be better. Coming off a good week. I don't know about you guys, but last Sunday was not bad. I mean, I was close. I ended up getting on, I can't even remember what we talked about last Wednesday, but I ended up getting high on the Vikings and Josh Allen game. So Josh Allen didn't pan out, but he was 3% owned. So I mean, I'll take that all the time for one of the better quarterbacks, or if not the best quarterback in the league.
Yeah, sometimes you play the guy that's low on with the big upside, and it doesn't work out. But I played Fields.
It doesn't help when Fields is just. I had Fields too, but I just should have. I mean, man, we talked about it. Could have just locked him in and moved on.
Yeah, I will, and we'll talk about Mr. Fields again this week because it's going to be a lot of the same for me. Locks, how you doing on Wednesday morning? How was your Sunday? How you doing?
I'm doing okay. Running around this morning for the kiddos, but happy to hop on here with you guys as always every Wednesday morning. Love this show. Just looking to dive into another week. It was an okay week, about slight profit, maybe break even, but nothing major for me. I did call the JT big day, so that was nice. But other than that, I just missed on a few spots.
Man, I got laughed off of my show when I gave the case for you were watching, right?
Oh yeah.
I was like, all right, guys, I don't want to play him, but here's the case for Jonathan Taylor. And I laid it out, and Hoop and Big T just laughed me out of the chair.
Yeah, I hopped in there and told him it was my play of the day, remember?
Yeah.
I remember that.
I appreciate that. I saw you in the chat.
All heaters come to an end. Nope. Not lots of
That's
heaters.
right. He did say that. All heaters come to an end. I forgot that. Oh, man, it's just
I was
rude.
listening. I was watching. All right. It's so funny because I love, I'm listening. It's just crazy. For me, it was I ran. I think I ran. So I didn't MME. I mean, I did, but I didn't. I ran, I think 8 to 12. And I love Taylor. I love the call. At Locks, I was with you. somehow like I only got like one share of them. So that was a function of just like messing up my process there at the end. But he had a big day.
Yeah, just it was a big day for Jonathan Taylor. It was a big day for Justin Fields. It was a big day for it was a big day for Cole Kmet, which pissed me off. Like I'm just gonna tell you guys right now, I'm not gonna be playing Cole Kmet until it just becomes silly. And I think it's close to that, but we ain't there yet. Let's go ahead and talk about this slate a little bit, because we got another slate with Justin Fields. We've got another slate with the Bills and your Josh Allen. No Patrick Mahomes, so we don't have to play Chiefs roulette on this slate. Thank God. But a lot to like on this slate. You know what I would also like? But also like some likes. If you go ahead and click that button, we're trying to pump those likes up over here on Run Pure Sports, and it helps us out. And we're here to help you out. So do a little givey backy. Click that like button. It helps us out. It's the little thumbs up button down here. So we got to talk about one of the biggest stories in football, first of all, and that is Justin Fields, because I said on my show, I think he's turned a corner. And there are people out there, how can you play Justin Fields? He's 7-2. And I'm like, the dude just keeps crushing. And what did he do last week? He crushed once again with over 40 DraftKings points. And now he gets a matchup. You know, I tweeted this out Sunday. I can't wait for people, to fade Justin Fields against Chex Notes. Atlanta. So he gets a matchup with Atlanta. AP, it's a pretty damn good spot. The price tag is 7-6, so he's starting to get priced up there with the likes of Jalen Hurts, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen. You still get $1,000 savings off those guys, and I'm pretty sure I'm just going to keep clicking the button. What about you?
Yeah, I like what DraftKings did here with the price increase, 7,600. So he's up there in that elite tier with your Allens, your Mahomes, that group. And rightfully so. This guy has, I mean, we talked about it last week, and I was kind of kicking myself. All week, I think Justin Fields was like the topic of discussion. And what I kept hearing, and what I was saying myself, is if you play him, though, you got to stack him. You got to stack him. You got to double stack him. And I think sometimes that gets overplayed. And I think it's like, if you're playing Fields, there's going to be a lot of Fields +2 and run backs. And so the industry now is at a point to where that is just the norm to do, to where, I don't know, I'm in a camp where if I don't I always like stacking them with Mooney. I ended up stacking one lineup with Kmet last week. It is what it is. But there's going to become a point in time where Fields just crushes himself, runs in 2 touchdowns, 100 yards, and he just does it. He puts the team on his back. I don't have a problem running him naked here, especially against the Falcons. Now, naturally, I want to stack him with Claypool and Mooney, but I'm almost to the point to where I might put a cap, depending on the slate for sure, but put a cap on how much I'm stacking him. The rushing upside is just massive. I think I'm with you, Crane. I think he has turned a corner. He's figured something out, and we're seeing it where he's got to use his feet. And this guy is a talent. So I love the price increase. I think he's, again, a phenomenal play. The matchup is good in a dome. Fields is going to, I think, what's his floor? 20 something?
Yeah. I think 22 is his floor.
And then, thinking about the other top tier quarterbacks, it could be Snowmageddon. They're in Buffalo. So that would, make us not like Allen as much. And then just looking at, we do have Jalen Hurts on the slate as well. So it's going to be an interesting discussion up top. But how can you not just love Justin Fields right now? It just seems like the guy you click and you move on. You figure out the rest of the puzzle in your lineups.
Yeah, and Locks, I do expect him to still be popular. Another price increase, I don't think it cares. When you're scoring 40 every week, people are going to play you, which naturally means Josh Allen, I love this matchup for Lamar Jackson, by the way, and Jalen Hurts. They're all going to be low owned. Now, Fields is kind of in this pricing tier by himself. He's 7,600. Next cheapest guy is 800 cheaper. Next most expensive guy is 600 more expensive. So he's going to carry a shitload of ownership. Locks, are you going to eat the chalk on that, or are you going to kind of try and go up or down to one of these guys?
Yeah, I don't mind eating that chalk. A lot of good points brought up by you guys, and it's one of those things where Yeah, you always feel like you have to play if you're playing a quarterback, you got to play a wide out, right? And like you guys just talked about, I stuck him with Claypool last week, so that's kind of what burnt me. That kind of killed me. I picked the wrong guy. I wasn't going to play Komet back-to-back weeks like that, but hey, to each their own. I'm not playing Komet this week. I'm with you there. I'm just not going to play him now. I will be on Fields. I'd say this week I'll probably be running him naked if I'm running him. I had him in probably 35 lineups last week. I just didn't have Komet in any of them. So
so you're screwed from the beginning. Yeah.
It didn't necessarily burn me because the guy's so good anyway and scored however many points. I mean, so yeah, run him naked. Don't run him naked, but you're going to get these higher guys at low ownership just because everyone's going to play them at that 7,600 price tag. So I don't mind going to like a Jackson or a Hurts here. I don't like the snow game much. If it snows again in Buffalo, you never know. So I'll be a little bit lower on Allen, but I think I'm going to be higher on Jackson and Hurts this week up at top. I'll sprinkle in a little Fields, but probably add or under the field on him just because I think he's going to get steamed so much after the last 3 weeks.
Oh, and of course he's going to be crazy popular. I just like, man, it's just tough to fade 40.
Yeah, and that's why no chance I'm fading him. No way. No way I'm fading him. I'm not going to be over the field on him.
No, I might be over the field on him. I also, like you mentioned Lamar Jackson, and he's somebody that I really love this week. It's just so hard to play him over Fields right now. Like that's my biggest issue. Like that is a real $100. It really is. And golly, man, like I want to play Lamar. If Fields was priced at 8,400, I think I would go to Lamar and take my chances. But that $800 matters. You guys have been mentioning the guys we pair Fields with. I'm gonna, the meme of the guy who keeps painting his phone face like a clown, and then it finally gets to the end. Like that's me playing Chase Claypool. It's just every week I try and play this dude, and every week he has 2 targets. I'm going to keep doing it at 4,800 because the breakout game is coming. But boy, it's starting to get a little expensive just mashing that guy into my lineup every week. Let's talk about some cheap quarterbacks. I have a buddy that I was talking to a couple days ago. He said, and he generally has a decent feel for this stuff. He goes, how many days until people talk themselves into Marcus Mariota on the other side of the Fields game? And I don't think I can do Mariota just because his ceiling is Fields' floor. AP, when you look at these other cheap guys, is there anybody that stands out to you?
So, I mean, talking cheaper, the next guy I was going to was Dak Prescott, 6,600, kind of cheap. So, I mean, targeting one of the reasons why I had a ton of interest in getting over to Josh Allen was just the leverage that I was going to get because I knew Fields was going to garner a ton of ownership, and I love the matchup. It just, they had a conservative game plan to start, and that game obviously went crazy. But Cowboys need to bounce back here. The Vikings still, I think, maybe a little overrated. I don't know what you guys think, but that secondary
absolutely think they're overrated.
That secondary is one we can attack. One person who isn't overrated is Justin Jefferson, who is an absolute stud, who continues to get under-owned each and every week. It's crazy. He's 3% last week, 3 or 4%, something like that. I love this game. Dak, the price is really nice. You go Dak, CeeDee Lamb, and Jefferson. I don't know if you can make it work yet, but I imagine there has to be a way. Really, really high upside game. So Dak would be one of the other guys that I would be looking at. One of my problems with going really cheap this week is when you think about the quarterback options on the slate, and mainly the ones we've talked about, Justin Fields, but then you got Jalen Hurts, you have Josh Allen, you have then Dak Prescott in a good matchup, Joe Burrow. You have a lot of quarterbacks with good floors and good and very, very high ceilings to where I think if you try to get cute at the quarterback spot, you may get absolutely dusted. So I see myself it's first look. Obviously, it's first look. I see myself having a pretty tight quarterback pool this week. I see it being Justin Fields. I'm going to obviously consider Jalen Hurts, another game that's in a dome, and then Dak Prescott. So 3 games that are all in domes. Weather's not going to be a factor. I absolutely love that. So I could see myself, even though it's Wednesday right now, first look, I'm pretty confident that those are the 3 quarterbacks that I'm going to be looking at this weekend.
Yeah, I don't see anybody in the cheap seats that can't compete. Like, I just think the upper tier options, wide receiver, look, these cheap guys can always hit a big play and get their running back. We've been having cheap value running backs all year. We've had some cheap value quarterbacks too, like when Justin Fields is cheap. But I look at these cheap guys and nothing stands out to me. Locks, does anything stand out to you?
Not a whole lot standing out to me. The one guy looking through here that I would like to mention is Daniel Jones, if you're looking to save money here.
Yeah.
I mean, he's going against Detroit. Decent game. I think, he gets there with his legs a lot of times too. So I wouldn't mind throwing in a little bit of him at 5,700. And again, it's not somebody I'm super high on, but if we're talking about cheapies just to help you guys out, that's kind of where I'm looking. Possibly a Heineke at Houston or against Houston this week. But yeah, I'm with you guys. I'm going to be staying in that Dak Prescott and up range. I'm not going to be diving down too much below that this week. It's not a week to go down with all those studs at the top.
I do like you're calling Daniel Jones. Like, we've been picking on Detroit all year. Like, yeah, Daniel Jones is perfectly fine. Another guy that is perfectly fine in that game, and this is going to move us over to running backs. But first, click that like button, click that subscribe button. We really appreciate it over at Run Pure Sports. Little like button, little arrow, it's going like that too. Helps us out over there, and we really appreciate it. We appreciate you guys watching. Appreciate you guys hanging out with us on this Wednesday morning, talking some football. I'm hanging out in the YouTube chat. We're talking a little bit. It's a good time over here. It's a little party. But speaking of guys in that Lions-Giants game that we like, this was my play of the day last week, and he, a little disappointing. He kind of got there, but not really. I wasn't really thrilled with Mr. Saquon Barkley last week, but he did pretty damn well. And I think he's going to do pretty damn well again, because I'm going to say it the same thing that I did last week. $8,900, a matchup against the Lions. I don't think there's a price tag you could make Saquon that I'm not going to like him this week, AP.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of weird. Like I had Saquon's another one. So I ended up really heavy, like 4 wide receiver builds, which is why I think I ended up under on some of these running backs that I initially really liked going into the week, Saquon being one of them. And it's crazy with Saquon because the volume is there, from a rushing standpoint. But the production just hasn't followed. And I think it just has something to do with like how bad that offensive line is. So again, this is going to be a really good matchup for him. 8,900 though, when you think of roster construction, if we truly want Justin Fields, if we truly want some of these top tier receivers, CeeDee Lamb, Justin Jefferson, etc., how are we going to pay for Saquon at 8.99K? It's going to be very difficult to do. So just on the surface, from a running back standpoint, I see myself trying to look for a couple cheaper options. I mean, a couple scenarios are going to, could change my mind on this. I mean, if we truly get a snow game in the Browns-Bills, we've seen those in the past. Just kind of thinking back, like where they're just so rushing heavy that, it brings some of those running backs into consideration. The other cheaper options that I'm looking at, I mean, why can't we go right back to the Commanders? I mean, we saw the game plan they rolled out. That was successful against one of the better, if not, previously the best team in football. We all know who I think the best team in football is. I've said it all year long.
The Commanders.
Oh, no way. My boy Mahomes, Chiefs, baby, right on top. Oh, imagine
the Packers.
I mean, how about a nice win for the Packers? That was going to be the other upset I was looking at. I love these. You get these rivalry games, and people think like they get so like just tunnel vision, and they're like, "There's no way this good team can lose to this other team that's not as good." But it's a rivalry game. I'm telling you, I've seen it. Like Chiefs, like when they lose these games, it's all like the Raiders. At the very end of the season, I bet KC loses this game to the Raiders. It's the very last game of the season. Raiders, but it's just how the NFL works. It is. But I think, man, the Commanders, they showed a game plan that really worked against a really good team. Why would they like go away from that against a team that everyone's been rushing against? So I'm looking at Brian Robinson. I mean, he ran the ball and looked good running the ball against a good defense. 26 rush attempts. Failed to get into the box, but man, you got to think that no, he did get in the box. So yeah, Brian Robinson, Antonio Gibson. I mean, I don't know what your guys' interests are in those guys, but when I just think about if I am going to try to get these top tier receivers, I'm going to need some value at the running back spot.
Yeah, Brian Robinson, I build a lineup on Tuesday. Every week I build a lineup on Tuesday, and I try and just leave that lineup in the millie just in case it is $20. Why not? I've wasted $20 on worse shit than that. But Brian Robinson's in there. Like, I like Brian Robinson this week, and at 5,300, it's really difficult not to like him. Now, you have to be concerned, of course, with Antonio Gibson being there. And if you played Antonio Gibson, I wouldn't blame you one bit, but he's a value piece I like. Locks, do you like these Washington guys? Do you like some of these expensive guys? What do you like at the running back position?
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff I like here this week, and it's just going to come down to roster construction. Like AP's saying, if we're going to spend up at QB, we got to find some value at the running back. Definitely with you guys on the Redskins side. I think I lean more towards Gibson, just catching more passes out of that backfield and stuff. So I would pay the extra $300 for him. Just my take on that side of things, but Robinson did have 26 carries. So who knows, maybe that's their new game plan. Let's just stuff it down everybody's throat and he could bust off. So definitely interesting there. Another couple of guys I have interest in is David Montgomery against Atlanta in that same Fields game. We saw Herbert, I think, get ruled out for the year, right?
Yeah, he's on IR.
I mean, definitely some interest there. Even I wouldn't even mind really running Fields with Montgomery. Would be interesting, maybe a different Millie type of build. And then there's just so much value down here. I mean, Deontay Foreman's still $5,900. You got Jamal Williams at 6,000. I mean, these guys I think this is the range I'm going to live in. And then if Zeke's out again, we got Tony Pollard at 6,500. So I don't see any reason to pay up. I mean, I'm not going to be on Chubb this week. I'm not going to be on Dalvin Cook. I like Barkley and Taylor up top. And then most of my running backs are going to be 6,500 and under probably.
Yeah. I mean,
what about your boy, Johnny Taylor?
As I said, I'll be with Barkley and Taylor. And 6,500.
Yeah, gotcha.
Yep.
Yeah. I missed that.
Yeah, and we saw Washington run all over him. Yeah.
Yep, exactly.
We were like going word for word there. That was creepy. Like,
I'll be right back on my boy JT this week.
Yeah, I have no problem with that. Like Alvin Kamara is another guy that I suspect will go overlooked. And
I know
he's been
playing
awful.
Kamara, right?
I know he's been awful. I get it.
He's been good like 1 week.
It's still Alvin Kamara. Like, I think
the Saints tilt me, man. There's so many, like, I don't know.
The chat really wants Cordero Patterson to happen.
He's another tilting guy.
Yeah, that's gonna do.
What do you do with
and
him?
he's not cheap either. 6,200. That's like not cheap, and he could get you what he got you last week. He
gets you
like,
three.
Yeah, and that tanks you. That absolutely tanks you.
Yeah, like
I don't know how you do that when you got Montgomery right below him.
I mean, I'll tell you what, if you decide to roll the dice and not play Fields, I like Montgomery's a phenomenal play against Atlanta. Like, and I'm with you. I think you can play them together and be fine. I don't know. Do the Bears score enough points to get?
I think that's a bad play. I think that's something that people are going to talk about all week and love. Like, I just think you're trying. If we're talking large field tournaments, I think it's one or the other. If it's a running, if they get there via actually rushing the ball, not with Fields, but through David Montgomery, it's going to take away from Fields. If Fields continues to do his thing, it's going to take away from David Montgomery. So I think it's one or the other.
Yeah, I don't know. It's definitely a point, something that you're going to have to decide throughout the week. Because if the Bears score 28, if the Bears score 35, they can both get there. If they score 24 points, 21 points, and then they'll score 3 touchdowns, that's going to be awfully tough for both those guys to get there. So that's something to kind of think about as the week goes on. AP, did we miss anybody that you're interested in? Damian Pierce against Washington, 6,500. I don't hate him.
I mean, yeah, that's fine. I mean, Kenyon Drake, they ran the ball. What did he get? 24 touches?
Yep.
Last week, did you talk about him?
I know. We passed over Kenyon Drake. 24 attempts last week.
Yeah. And then, didn't Josh Jacobs, he had an eruption game against the Broncos. However, playing in Denver is that game's going to play ugly. It's just always so tough playing in Denver. I always fade those games. Like when the Chiefs go there, it's just, except for Travis Kelce, he's had some big games. It's always just such a tough environment.
Oh, man, yeah. And then another guy, Dante Foreman, 5,900, 31 carries last week. You got to be interested in him. I'm also interested, if you're watching this show, in clicking the like button. It helps us out. And let's have a little chat real quick.
What about Najee Harris? You guys going back
No, there? God, I'm not.
20. He was 1 yard. Oh, he's 1 yard away from that 100-yard bonus.
Yeah, good for him.
Better. I mean,
good for him.
An okay matchup.
I'm just not playing Najee. Like, I do like the Steelers D, so maybe there's some correlation there that I've got to look at. But I am not playing Najee. I am playing though.
$5,500 against the Bengals. That's not bad.
I don't mind that. I mean, I could see a little upset.
I'm going to get talked into Najee this week, aren't I? Is that what's going to happen? It's Wednesday right now.
Najee Harris.
Like Saturday morning is the over/under that I get talked into Najee. Oh,
imagine if the Steelers sweep the Bengals. That would be interesting. I could see it happening. Unless just because Chase is out, they become a little, more one-dimensional.
Okay, so before we get into some wide receivers, one, click that like button. It helps us out. And two, let's talk about some NBA because we got a lot going on with NBA. AP, I'm going to kick it to you, man. Tell us about the NBA product right now. We're at Run Pure Sports for subscribers.
Yeah, things are popping off. I mean, we got content every slate. We tackle it every slate from cash charts to playbooks to heat maps to core plays to the Discord. I think the Discord continues to be, if not the best, I think, product that we have. People are in there day and night talking through plays. And, last night, there's like calculators and stuff that you can go to, like when a player is ruled out or whatever, but you got people asking in chat. So, X person is out, who benefits? And someone's in there answering that question. I think it's just invaluable. It's one of the best things that we have.
Okay, and let's also talk about, we got some World Cup content coming up. And I'm excited because year after year, I do well in soccer. And why do I do well in soccer? Because I listen to Jaime's content. I listen to Rubio Dime's content. And it's crazy because I don't know a damn thing about soccer. Like, I'll watch it if I'm gambling on it, but I don't know a damn thing about it. And every year I pull up my Roto Tracker and I sort by sport. And soccer's like always one of the top 2 ROI sports. So we've got the World Cup coming up. And anytime something like this comes up, the value is just insane. So it's something that I'm going to be prioritizing. Like Thanksgiving week, and sorry, family, I can't hang out. I got World Cup to do, baby. And I truly do believe that the content providers over at Run Pure Sports, as far as soccer goes, they are the best. And I'm going to be heavily invested in this World Cup because it just doesn't get any better than the content team over at Run Pure Sports. So if you're not a member, this is a phenomenal time to check it out because I'm telling you guys, like, the World Cup's just going to be a print fest. It just is. Every time one of these niche sports has a big event, it happens in tennis too, whenever there are majors. It's going to happen with the World Cup here. So I'm going to be firing up that World Cup, and I appreciate Jaime and Rubio's content over at Run Pure Sports because honestly, it's just been a freaking print fest. Vinny in the chat says, I never play soccer, don't know how the scoring works, so I won't even attempt it. Vinny, like, you get some really great tournaments for like $15 or $20. If you're a member over at Run Pure Sports, check it out. Go ahead, Lox.
I was going to say, I've never played soccer either. Should I play? You're going to talk me into it, Crane.
I mean,
it's fun.
Like,
I always dig in the soccer streets.
Like, I don't know anything about soccer. I know that on DraftKings, crosses are important and very clearly goals.
Golazo, Crane.
Yeah.
Should I full send 150 lineups with my first soccer thing?
Dude, I mean, yeah, why not? Why not? You're on a heater. It's like 100K. It's like 100K up top for man. Like you got
on a sport I know nothing about.
What did I send? I max entered that $70 college basketball tournament yesterday. And it it didn't go well. But why not? Why not? You're on a heater. The DK account's pumped up. Give a little back to the people. Help us out a little bit. We help you, you help us.
Take it from the people. Continue the heater.
All right, I'm doing it.
I swear, if I get second place to Locks winning 100K, I'm just gonna cry. I'm like, man, I talked this mother into this. He's winning. Oh man, that's too good. But yeah, definitely check out the soccer content over at Run Pure Sports. I truly mean this. There's not any better soccer content out there. Like if you're going to play the World Cup, and I think you should because it's got to be really soft. Yeah, you're going to want to get those plays. So I also want the plays over at the wide receiver position. And AP, you kind of talked earlier about Justin Jefferson. You talked earlier about CeeDee Lamb. I'm struggling on this slate to pay up a wide receiver. I'm playing Fields. I'm playing Barkley. I look at these expensive wide receivers and I say, how do I get to these guys? If I was able to spend up at the position, though, who are you looking at outside of Jefferson and CeeDee Lamb, who we both know you love?
Yeah, I mean, those are just like the premier options on the slate, like Devonta Adams. I think it's just going to be a tougher matchup, like we talked about. The targets are there, though, and they were there the last time these two teams played. But for me, it's like, am I really playing him over, Justin Jefferson over CeeDee Lamb? CeeDee Lamb with arguably one of the better matchups too. You got Terry McLaurin, 4.9K, just phenomenal matchup, 11 targets against Philly. Gosh, like he's clicking too with Heineke. We've seen the target share just go up, massively with Heineke, as their quarterback. So Scary Terry, 5.9K seems like an absolute steal. And I like it, man. Like, I don't know, like you got Brandon Cooks on the other side of that game. You got my boy Nico Collins who got in the box. Yeah, the one time I don't get on him against the Giants, he had 10 targets, 5 receptions, 1 touchdown. I mean, the secret might be out about Nico Collins. Maybe not yet. Maybe he flies under the radar. I think that I've said it all year long. I think he breaks a slate at one point. Maybe it's this week. Maybe it's you play Brian Robinson or Antonio Gibson, whoever you like. You run it back with Nico Collins, 4.1K. That's going to be how you can free up some salary, Crane. Then other guys here, like we could go to Amon-Ra. I mean, there's some nice correlation with Saquon there. 11 targets last week, had himself a nice day. You got AJ Brown, which I put right in that other tier. It's like I would rather have CeeDee Lamb or spend up a little bit more for Justin Jefferson over him. So I mean, for me, I don't know. I want those top tier receivers, and I think the pool is pretty small this week for who we want to target.
Yeah, you mentioned some guys that I like. Terry McLaurin is, it's weird because I like the running backs in this game too, but I think Terry McLaurin's one of the best plays in the entire slate. Like Heineke just loves this guy. He should be a $6,500 receiver, and he's $5,900. Like, I think he's a phenomenal play. Lox, who do you like at the wide receiver position?
Muted.
Oh, Lox, you were doing so good. Oh, man. Welcome back.
Hey, didn't want you to hear the babies crying. Sorry.
Yeah, appreciate that. I still have PTSD for my own.
No, looking at this slate and just looking through here, it's looking like I'm going to kind of live in this mid-range, low range. I'll sprinkle in the top guys, but there's just too many other spots I want to get up to, especially with the QB position. I love the Amon-Ra call. I'll play him every week. I mean, he's still, I don't know how he's under $8,000, to be honest with you. So I'll play him. I love the McLaurin call. I've liked him all year. And when they switched to Heineke, I just got excited because we saw Heineke last time. He just loves the guy. He throws to the guy all the time. There's no chance he should be $5,900. So I'll be jamming all the McLaurin this week against Houston. The top tier, just to touch on those guys quick, Jefferson is always in play. We saw it doesn't matter who's guarding him. The guy's going to make something happen. So definitely interesting. Adams is back to getting more than 12 targets a game. I think he continues to just get peppered with those other guys out. So definitely interesting there. Diggs, we see he just continues to crush. So definitely some interest in the high range, but there's just, like I said, if we're all paying up at QB, we can't play all the high end wide receiver guys too. So looking down below, McLaurin, St. Brown, those are the two guys that pop out to me right away. Darius Slayton's interesting against Detroit. He continues to be solid with Daniel Jones, just because we talked about Daniel Jones earlier. So he's interesting to me. Interested to hear some of your takes, Crainer, since you're kind of the wide receiver guy. So who do you like in this range?
I think Michael Pittman is getting overlooked. He's $6,100. And look, I understand last week he didn't really get there. He only had 12 points at 6,200, but he still had 9 targets. And with Matt Ryan back under center, we know Matt Ryan just targeted the hell out of Pittman. It's not an ideal matchup against Slay. Slay tends to struggle against these quicker wide receivers and do better against these bigger wide receivers. But man, it's going to be tough for me to ignore those targets at 6,100. Especially in a situation where they're going to have to be throwing a lot. They're in a dome, though. I don't think Pittman's insane at 6,100, and I don't love the matchup, but I love the volume and I love the game environment. I don't know. I mean, somebody like talk me out of Pittman. AP, can you talk me out of Pittman, please?
I mean, I don't know. Like, I think.
Yeah,
I think Washington kind of showed.
It's uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable to play Pittman.
Yeah, like, I mean, I think maybe an upgrade with Matt Ryan back there. Obviously, they're trying to, like, I don't know. I mean, the Colts should be plenty motivated right now. I mean, imagine if they upset the Eagles here. I mean, it's going to be. I mean, the people crying about that whole situation are going to be. It's going to be hilarious. So Pittman 6.1K. I mean, I don't know. Like I could see it in the right game script. I just think for the Colts to win this one, it has to be through Jonathan Taylor. Very similar to what the Commanders did last week.
Okay, but you're going to get a Philly team that just lost their first game. They're pissed off. They're going to come in, and I just think try and kick the shit out of Indy, which means that Indy's going to be throwing the ball a lot. Like, Jonathan Taylor is great, and I understand that they ran all over Philly last week. I don't think that's going to be the norm.
Yeah, I mean, we all talk about how they're going to bounce back, be pissed off and stuff, but why can't they come in kind of second guessing themselves? Like, oh, we should have won that game.
Yeah.
Like, and now you see this happen all the time. Like the quicksand comes where, now players are afraid of making mistakes and stuff. If that's the mindset coming in, that's how you lose football games. So I think Indy's a lot live here, man. I like a lot of dogs this week. I like the Steelers. I like, actually, I think the Vikings get a win. So I mean, yeah, actually they're a dog. So I think the Vikings are going to get another win. I like and I like the Colts this week too.
The Cowboys are the best bet on the board. Everybody is stunned that Minnesota is an underdog. And this is just one of those spots where Vegas is going to print because everybody's going to be betting on Minnesota. Like, just
I think people. I disagree. I think I haven't looked at it. You think so? Like, I think people.
All I've heard is how shocked people are that Minnesota is a dog, and that means that people are going to be betting on Minnesota. Like, to me, this is just such a clear Cowboys spot.
I think the Vikings are the better team, though.
Okay, I mean, if you think the Vikings,
I think they're a little overrated.
Okay,
I was high on the Cowboys early this season too, but things change.
Yeah, and I mean, Pittman, like, I know I just keep harping on this. He had a target share of 30%. I don't like this matchup. Like, Slay does better against these bigger, more physical wide receivers. He struggles, like last week we saw with the Terry McLaurins of the world. I don't know. It's just tough for me to ignore that volume at 6,100. Lox, did we miss anybody with you?
I probably won't be as high on Pittman. The guy in that offense I would play probably would be Paris Campbell.
I think he's fine too.
He's kind of interesting with Matt Ryan. And then just a couple other guys as I'm looking down here, just for some value as we're talking, is Donovan Peoples-Jones has actually been kind of interesting. He's been over 10 fantasy points and he continues to be under. I mean, if we can get 14, if he missed 100 yards by 1 yard, I think. So he's interesting, starting to get a little bit more volume consistently in that offense. Paris Campbell, as I just talked about. And I'm just looking down at the value as we're kind of talking along here, but those are a couple guys that I wanted to mention in here for MME type stuff.
There's somebody I was just looking at. Oh, don't play DJ Moore. Just really quick. Like, I don't think anybody's going to want to go there at $5,700, but with Baker Mayfield behind center, like, you just don't want to mess with DJ Moore. So just do yourself a favor. I'm sitting here trying to find a guy to pair with Lamar, and I'm like, man, maybe Andrews. It sounds like Andrews is going to come back. Like, that would be. I'm telling Lamar to Andrews is going to be solo owned.
Didn't Baker come in against Cincy and sling it? Or is that game just out of hand or something? Or
I
thought he had a good game.
I mean, I'm looking at.
in.
DJ hasn't had a good game in 2 weeks.
And I was talking about Baker though, like when he came in.
Yeah, he came in and played well against Cincy when they were struggling. He played the second half, but then he didn't play at all against Atlanta.
Yeah, he didn't throw to DJ.
So is he starting this week?
I'm pretty sure.
Baker?
Yeah. He's going to start. Interim head coach Steve Wilkes said Monday that Mayfield will start week 11 against the Ravens because PJ Walker has a high ankle sprain. So yeah, he's got it's just. It takes
have the Ravens ever blown a team out? Like I feel like they're a team that always plays down to their
some 31-3 games. Sure.
Well, I'm crazy talking now. Like, can you go Baker to DJ Moore?
No, come on.
I'm just kidding.
Well, I can't think of a worse.
He's gonna be
play.
like, Simon, get us out of here.
Oh yeah, screw tight ends, screw defense. Bye. Like, man, I just couldn't even imagine doing that. Like, I don't know. Right now, I'm just playing Lamar naked, but just maybe, I can find a way to get to Mr. Andrews in my lineups. Just maybe. All right, let's move on to some tight ends. And we just got done talking about Mark Andrews a little bit. Like him on the Philly side, it sounds like Dallas Goedert's going to be missing the game, which means Jack Stoll at minimum price is interesting.
Let's go. He's a Nebraska boy, man.
Oh, okay.
Like Nebraska. The one thing that Nebraska sucks, they suck at football now, but they produce good tight ends. So. I love Jack. He's going to be my guy this week.
Did you think that he was going to be the second tight end I mentioned?
No, I mean, this is our first look. This is the first time I'm pulling up the slate. So I had no idea who we'd be talking about.
Yeah. Darren Waller, he's still out, which means that Foster Moreau is going to get ownership. He's 3,700 this week. AP, are you going to be able to pay up tight end this week? It's pretty tough.
Just looking through this, like, I don't know. I mean, we talk. I always like value at the tight end position. I always like unless I can get to Kelsey. I always like fading Chop too at the tight end position. So, I mean, I was, I wasn't kidding. I'll be looking at Jack Stoll. He's, I think he's a guy that they can insert. I'm not saying he's Dallas Goedert. Not what I'm saying at all. What I am saying is he can catch, man. He was very good in college. He was I don't know. It's not saying much, but he was one of the better talents at Nebraska. So when he played, so I'd be very interested in him. And I think people would be surprised at the game that he could have here indoors against the Colts. I mean, you could just think about like in-game secondary stacks. If you're playing Jonathan Taylor, you could always run it back with like a Jack Stoll. I think it'd be a fine way to attack this game. I'm really curious too. So Cooper Kupp obviously out. That's a situation we didn't really talk about. Yeah. But you have to think, despite the low total here, a few of these Rams players are going to get some ownership. Tyler Higbee being one of them, 4K. The cash guys love Tyler Higbee because of the targets and everything. 8 reception, 8 target game against the Cardinals. Tougher matchup here against the Saints. It seems like they don't yield a lot to tight ends. I don't know if you we didn't touch on the receivers for the Rams either. Like, I don't know if you guys want to.
We probably should have, because like Allen Robinson becomes so. Skowronek, I can't do that.
And here's what people think, though. We're in NBA season, and anytime a key guy gets ruled out, it's going to give usage fantasy point bumps to another player. That's how the NBA works. Not necessarily the case in NFL, but people treat it the same oftenly, and they overreact sometimes. I might just fade this whole Rams team. There's a chance they don't put up over 10 points here. Like, I think they're going to be an absolute disaster. I think the Saints could win big here, like real big.
Yeah, that wouldn't shock me at all. Like,
couldn't you see them winning like 27-10 or something?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I could absolutely see that. Oh man. Okay, Locks, what do you think about the tight end position? What do you like? Where are you going there? Are you like just try and save with Stahl, or what do you think?
So just to touch base on the wideouts quick for the Rams.
Yeah.
My favorite is probably Van Jefferson, to be honest with you. Might sound crazy, but I think he's probably my favorite out of those wideouts. Deep play threat. We saw him miss a couple last week, but I like him personally out of those 3 guys.
Only 4,500. Like I was kind of hoping a little cheaper.
I like that call.
Yeah.
If you're playing one of them.
That's just where I would go. Back to the tight ends, though. I do like Higbee. I think he's going to get north of 10 targets this week. So even though the Saints are decent at defending the tight end position, I don't mind him. But yeah, with freaking Goddard being out, I'm going to smash all of the $2,500 Jack Stoll that I can. I mean, it's just going to open up so many more spots for me, allow me to get to more of those wide receivers and spend up there. So I love that. Everybody's going to go there. Maybe they don't, but I'm going to for sure. I don't see myself spending up at all. I mean, if Mark Andrews is out, I'm likely going to play somebody else.
Was that a likely joke?
Did you get that
one? Yeah, I got it.
So
it wasn't clear it was a joke, but I thought it was.
So he's interesting depending on the Andrews news. Hawkinson's very interesting too. So if I did pay up, I think he would be my spend up this week. We see it all the time. Kirk Cousins loves his tight ends. He's gotten him involved very quickly since he joined the offense. So I'm just trying to pull up his stuff here. I mean, this first week he caught 9 of 9 targets. Second week caught 7 out of 10 targets. Yeah, he only had 45 yards last week, but I think he gets in the end zone this week for his first touchdown to Vikings. Not really much interest anywhere else. Greg Dulcich kind of let us down. He's up to 3,800 now. Foster Moreau's interesting. Waller's going to be out, I think. So Moreau, likely, Stoll, and probably Hawkinson for me are my 4 tight ends I'm looking at right away, and then Higbee.
Yeah, I think Hawkinson's a really interesting one because people, he got traded a few weeks ago, and people typically stay, well, if he just recently got traded, I don't necessarily want to play him. He's had 19 targets in 2 weeks for the Vikings. So, I mean, that is a ton of usage. And if we like some of these Dallas pieces, I think Hawkinson has to be interesting at 5,300. That actually seems cheap for that kind of usage, doesn't it, AP?
Yeah. I mean, Hawkinson, yeah, like you could go there. I was trying to look back through to see what other options the Eagles had because they love using their tight ends. So not trying to change gears here, but do we think Jack Stoll is the guy? They got this Grant guy that is that people have been talking about too, that could be the pass catching guy. But anyways, they're both 2,500, both going to be interesting options. And then, yeah, so back to TJ Hawkinson, man, you got to love the volume there. A smash game's going to come, could be the spot too. Against the Cowboys. I love this game. I think it's going to be a great game for fantasy purposes. So it's going to be one that I'm targeting. But again, I'm probably going to be like, if I'm playing Justin Jefferson, I'm not playing TJ Hawkinson. So I'm going to be setting some rules there. It's kind of one or the other, because if I'm playing both, then I should probably be stacking them with Kirk Cousins. And I don't necessarily want to do that against Dallas defense. One of the better defenses out there, even though exposed last week. That's just the NFL, though. Like the best defense out there can have a bad day. So it just happens. So I'm torn. I like the idea of punting and looking at one of these real cheap guys.
Yeah, like you get 5 for 50 from Stoll. You're just printing at that price tag. Like it's just going to be awfully tough to beat. With that price, like these minimum price, like we don't get minimum price starting tight ends very often. Kyle Granson's another one. If you're not playing any of these other indie guys, I certainly have interest in. He's 2,900. He's the tight end for Indianapolis, so I don't hate him. I like too many of these indie guys.
He got all that production in the first half too, because I played him last week.
Yeah,
he was sitting. Yeah. He was sitting at 4 for 57, and I was like, oh hell yeah! I had a good lineup up there. And I needed more. Production. We got nothing in the second half.
I had a lot of Granson last week, and it just but again, he was so cheap, like 4 for 50 or 4 for 50. That was fine. Yeah. Like
Jelani Woods was out too, so you got to keep an eye on that.
Yeah.
Like if Jelani Woods is back, it becomes a guessing game.
All right, let's talk some defenses. But first, guys, if you're enjoying this show, we're glad to have you here. It's a good time as always. Go ahead and click that like button. It helps us out over at Run Pure Sports, and yeah, it's good to be here. It's good to be back talking NFL week. What is this, week 10? Is this week 11, week 300? I don't know. Whatever week it is, like, it's fun. I can't believe we're this late in the season. And also, I kind of think, just from a personal note, this is when I feel like I do my best work. So we're kind of in that time of the year where you sort of know what's going on. And Yeah, I actually think the profits are just going to go up, up, up for myself and the rest of us over at Run Pure Sports. All right, defenses. If you're saving money, it's awfully tough not to like the Steelers at $2,300 because they're playing a team in the Bengals that give up a lot of sacks. They have no offensive line. Burrow's a gunslinger. And plus Pittsburgh, they're getting their guys back. I don't know, Locks, I saw you shaking your head, man. Are you with me on Pittsburgh?
Yeah, that's one of the first defenses I looked at as soon as I opened them up. I just think we've seen Burrow without Chase. Yeah, Mixon went off for 5 touchdowns, but the Steelers D is good. Watt's back. He just brings so much more energy to that defense. So that's definitely interesting to me. The other two that I'm looking at to save money is the Saints and the Jets. Don't mind the Jets D against New England, and I don't mind the Saints D against the Rams without Cooper Kupp. Definitely interesting. I know we just talked about Higbee, but I'm not spending up at defense. I haven't spent up at defense all year. I'm going to continue to just pay down and stick in this 3,000 and under range and pay up everywhere else.
You skipped right over the team that was the other one that I had. I have 2 cheap defense. Houston. At home against Washington, against Taylor Heineke. Houston's got to be. I'm
the week of the upsets. I think Houston gets the win, too.
I could absolutely see that.
Washington's beating
Damian Pierce, baby. And Houston's deep.
Washington on a short week. And again, I love McLaurin this week, and I'm not going to play McLaurin with the Texans defense. But, man, oh, man, it's awfully tough for me not to like that Houston defense, too. Those are the 2 cheap defenses, Houston and Pittsburgh, that I'm playing. AP, talk to me, man.
Yeah, I mean, this week is setting up. I'm getting excited, fellas. I think that we're at the point in the season where we're kind of in a groove right now, and people are overthinking things X team can't beat another team. Just isn't the case in the NFL. I love the Steelers. I think the Steelers are very live here. Rivalry game. These 2 teams always battle it out. So I think the Steelers defense is going to be key for them getting a win. I love the Texans too. You hit the nail on the head. Short week for the Commanders. I think the Texans defense is somewhat underrated. I think they could lean on Damian Pierce, a guy I failed to mention at the running back spot, but I absolutely love him. And then I think we can go to the Saints. I think the Saints are going to be the highest I pay for a defense this week at $3,000. I just think they could clobber the Rams here. I think they could put up a big number. And then the Jets I like too. And then the Commanders would be the other one I would consider. But I kind of like the savings that the Texans give us as well. But I think the Jets is a good call. Their defense is clicking right now. I kind of prefer home defenses, which is why I lean Texans, Steelers, and then the Saints.
Yep. I think we're all in agreement that we're not spending up at defense this week. I mean, Buffalo, maybe they crush Cleveland, especially if that's a snow game. New England against the Jets, I could see going there. The Giants against the Lions, yeah, I get it. It's just, I think these cheap spots are just as good, and every dollar on this slate matters. You're going to need the savings somewhere. You have to kind of make that decision. Where am I going to save money this week? I'm looking at my lineup right now. It looks like I'm going to be saving at tight end, defense, and wide receiver. Maybe that's a little chalky, but I think it is the correct way to build this week. So that's how I'm going. First look, Locks. What are your thoughts on the slate?
Yeah, definitely interesting here. My first look, I think I'm spending up at QB. Going to be living in probably the mid-range for running back. Maybe spending up a few spots. I might run Barkley and Taylor in the same lineups a little bit. Wide receiver, definitely mid-range, low range. Not going to spend up this week, and then tight end and defense spend down. So definitely interesting. A few different spots I want to go. Obviously, there's still some injury news out there, so I'll be changing it as we kind of go along here. Definitely an interesting spot, interesting week, and ready to print again.
AP, thoughts on the slate for you?
Yeah, my thoughts are that it's all coming together. My too early first look core would be Steelers defense, which is what, 2,300. Jack Stoll, who's min price, and then give me CeeDee Lamb and Justin Jefferson. And then if we can fit Fields in there, I'm perfectly fine. No correlation, but who cares? Who cares anymore? Play the best plays and move on.
I actually do think this is the best plays week. I'm not going to be as worried about correlation. Like I've got Lamar in my team right now, and I love Lamar. I love Fields. Lamar's just kind of a way to get different with similar upside. Don't have any Panthers in there though. I don't think I need any Panthers in there.
Foreman.
I mean, Foreman's fine. Like I like
no Baker in your life, Crane. Come on,
no,
he can win you a millie.
Baker can.
He's once owned a millie back in the day.
I mean, I want a millie with Derek Carr, so anything's possible.
Baker to DJ Moore season.
Look, if that's the winner, it ain't gonna be me at the top.
What was that game? The Browns against who? Where Baker went like he absolutely nuked. Do you guys remember that? It was like one time.
I mean, no, I don't remember
those.
Yeah, he's like gone
years ago.
Yeah. He's like one time in Oklahoma, Baker had a big game. Like, the dude has been rough. He has just been very rough. What's not rough though is you guys watching. Appreciate it. We've been having fun hanging out with you guys. We got to get off here though. Make sure you keep checking out Run Pure Sports. We got a lot of fun stuff coming up. It's NBA season. We've been crushing it on NBA, NFL. Obviously, we talked about the World Cup. That's coming up next week. So you want to stick around for Run Pure Sports because we've got a lot of great stuff happening. And check us out. What Locks?
I was gonna say, check out the show later. I'll be on at 3:45.
Look at Locks.
That show's been
duty.
killing it too, man. The Wednesday NBA show. Yeah, you guys are crushing 10 games, man. A lot of good stuff too. Look at these totals tonight. I mean, we got Pacers, Hornets. Man, there's a lot of good action tonight. It's gonna be.
I'm gonna tell you guys, if there are 10 games on the slate, you need to be checking out for Pure Sports because that is a lot of information to handle.
DeAndre Jordan chalk. Oh, I mean, what's the Nuggets gonna do? I'll be tuning in to see what you guys have to say about DeAndre freaking Jordan.
You had me at DeAndre Jordan chalk. That's, maybe I will have to. I was going to skip NBA tonight, but if DeAndre Jordan is chalk, I might just have to hop in the streets once again. Guys, thank you so much for watching. We got to get out of here. For Locks, for AP, for Simon behind the scenes, I'm Eric. We'll catch y'all later. Peace.